Justin Stivers here, owner of the Probate Law Firm, probatefirm.com. And today I'm talking about when you have to do a probate. So when is probate necessary? A lot of times a client or a potential client will come to us because somebody, maybe at the bank, maybe at the courthouse, the property appraiser, someone, family member even, someone said, hey, you're going to have to do a probate, and they're not really sure, one, what that means, and two, whether or not probate is actually necessary. So I've talked about what probate is in other videos, so just go to our YouTube channel to find out more videos about what probate is. This video, I wanted to talk about three of the most common times that probate's necessary. So first has to do with real estate. The second has to do with bank accounts or money in a checking or savings account. And then the last has to do with insurance policies, or specifically life insurance. So I'm just going to take a minute on each just to kind of go through them to give you an idea of, when probate's actually necessary. So real estate is probably the most common. A lot of times a person will own a piece of property, their primary residence, their house, the place they live in. Let's just say in this case it's John. So John owns a piece of property. He's the only one on title. John passes away. His children, let's say he has two children, they want to receive the property. They want to sell it, they want to keep it, whatever they want to do, but they need to get it in their name. Well, John, if the property was only in his name, once he dies, the property is now owned by the estate. So the property is now owned by the estate of John. And in order for his children to be able to sell it, to rent it, to live in it, and have title on it, they're going to have to go through the probate process in order to get title put in their names and make themselves owners. Now, there's a lot of ways that John could have avoided this, and maybe probate's not necessary. So if he had it in a trust, maybe he had another person on title with himself, and the property passed to the person who's still alive. I'd have to know more information, but generally, rule of thumb is if someone owns a piece of property and it was in their name only, and then they die, whoever's going to receive that property is going to have to go through probate. That's probably the most common thing that we see. The second is bank accounts. So a lot of times, let's just say a husband and wife, they have a bank account at Chase Bank, at Bank of America, and husband and wife, they're joint owners on the account. Husband dies because unfortunately the husband or the guy seems to die first. So the guy passes away. Now the wife is the sole owner of the checking account. No issues there. She can go in and take out money. But when she dies, that money is now frozen. That account's now frozen. So if her children, again, they want to receive whatever she had in there, from $500 to $100,000, Chase is going to freeze that bank account. And the only way that they can get into that account is by doing a probate. It doesn't matter if mom in that case had a will and left the property to her son. He can't go in there and show Chase Bank, hey, look, my mom died and she left me the will. Look, I'm the only son she had. Chase is still going to require that the son hire an attorney and go through probate in order to get certain types of documents from the court. Now, the way she could have avoided that would have been if she had put a beneficiary on the account. In that case, if there's a beneficiary on the checking account, that beneficiary doesn't need to go through probate. They can go get the money or get whatever was in that account without going through the probate process. But if there's only one person on the account, no beneficiary, whoever wants to receive that money is going to have to go through the probate process. Again, we see this one a fair amount as well. And last, another common one is for insurance policies, or in this case specifically life insurance policies. So life insurance policy, life insurance basically, I'm sure you know what that is, but the person while alive, they're paying money to this insurance company, and when that person passes away, the insurance company is going to write a check to whoever they named as the beneficiary of that policy. So a lot of times what will happen is husband and wife, they will name the other person as a beneficiary. So in my case, let's say I have a life insurance policy. I name my wife as the beneficiary so that when I die, the insurance company is going to write her a check. But what happens if my wife dies before I do? And so now there's no beneficiary. Well, when I die, let's say I have children, my children would have to go open a probate for me in order to get those life insurance policies, those life insurance money. So if you have a life insurance policy, one thing I recommend is, make sure you look every so often to see who the beneficiary is, because a lot of times, you probably take out a life insurance policy in your, earlier days, your 30s, maybe your 40s even. But by the time you're 70 or 80, that person you named as the beneficiary might not be alive anymore. And so you need to update that. Make sure you have a beneficiary, or make sure you have a secondary beneficiary. So I might name my wife as the primary, and then my son as the secondary, so that if my wife dies, now my son gets it, and he wouldn't have to go through probate process. So those are probably the most, those are three are probably the most common things that we see of when probate is necessary. So if you've been told that you need to do a probate, it might be because of one of those reasons. So if you have any questions, or if you've been told that you need to do a probate, feel free to reach out to us, the Probate Law Firm, www.probatefirm.com, 305-456-3255, and we can talk about it, see if it's something we can help you with. Hope you guys found that useful, and we'll see you soon.